Hi, I am in the city of Canterbury, this very old city, and I'm going to take you around. England's ecclesiastical capital, Canterbury, is a busy market city. It is located in the county of Kent. Canterbury has managed to survive centuries of history, with much of its medieval character still intact. Made famous by Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, Canterbury boasts some of England's finest medieval architecture, including one of its oldest cathedrals. The Canterbury Cathedral houses the famous shrine of medieval Archbishop Thomas Becket. Towering above this historic city of Canterbury, this cathedral is a World Heritage Site and a place of pilgrimage for centuries. Chaucer's Canterbury Tales feature pilgrims, the 29 pilgrims, on their way here in the 14th century. Beautiful artisan cheese shop with wonderful cheeses to buy from the shop. Local, British, and some continental favorites. The Canterbury city walls. These were built by the Romans around Canterbury towards the end of the 3rd century. Even as the layout of the city streets changed through Anglo Saxon and Norman times, the circuit of walls remained pretty much the same. Statues of Bertha and Ethelbert stand on Lady Wootton's Green. When around 580 AD, Princess Bertha, daughter of Charlebert, King of Paris, married Ethelbert and came to live in Canterbury. Part of the bargain was that she would bring her chaplain bishop and be allowed to follow her Christian faith. Her subsequent role in the reintroduction of Christianity to England was important. This crooked house dates back to the 16th century, when it is said that chimney alterations didn't go as planned and caused the building to slip sideways. Now it is a bookshop. The Catching Lives Bookshop, or the Sir John Boy's House as it is known, is one of the country's most interesting buildings. With a slanted red door and an intriguing quote etched across the mantel of its facade. The quote is from Charles Dickens' novel David Copperfield. It reads, "A very old house bulging over the road, leaning forward, trying to see who was passing on the narrow pavement below." Like many old buildings in the city, the crooked house is built upwards, being smallest on the ground floor, with each subsequent floor being built bigger. This effect is likely why Dickens described this and other houses in the city as bulging. But the reasons why houses were built like this were more practical than pure aesthetics. Back then, the more spacious your house took up, the more tax you would have to pay. Therefore, by building incrementally upwards, you could have a bigger house and pay less for it. This 15th century hotel is steeped in history, with former guests, including Charles Dickens. Formerly known as Little Inn and made famous by Charles Dickens in David Copperfield, it was transformed back to this stylish hotel in 2006. The Great Fire in 1865 destroyed many of the timber framed buildings in Sun Street, but luckily, this building was saved from the flames. This is a 16th century pub, the Bishop's Finger. Nothing like exploring Canterbury's medieval streets on foot. This is the Marlow Theatre, named after the Elizabethan playwright Christopher Marlowe, who was born in Canterbury. The Marlow Theatre is the city's premier performing arts venue. Here is a statue of Marlowe. An interesting building here named Canterbury Tales. The mask is the work of sculptor Rick Kirby and arrived in the city as part of a sculpture festival called Block. It was so popular that Canterbury Council bought it and had it installed by the old theatre's forecourt where it stays. This river Stour runs through the city. One of the most photographed historic buildings in Canterbury, this old weaver's house is a gorgeous half timbered building on the river Stour. The river quite literally laps at the side of the building, which currently houses a very popular restaurant. The old weaver's house takes its name from the influx of Flemish and Huguenot weavers who settled in the area after fleeing from religious persecution during the 16th and 17th centuries. Elizabeth I granted the Flemish weavers the right to establish their businesses in Canterbury, and they are known to have used this building. This is a statue of Chaucer. An example of the 30 storytellers depicted on the plinth. A larger than life statue of Geoffrey Chaucer, dressed as a Canterbury pilgrim. Chaucer holds the writing on vellum of the opening text of the Canterbury Tales. This is the Beanie House of Art and Knowledge. The attraction takes the name of James George Beanie, the Canterbury born surgeon who emigrated to Australia and had a political career before leaving £10,000 to Canterbury to set up the museum. Inside, there's a large set of works by another Canterbury native, the Victorian landscape painter Thomas Sidney Cooper, along with a few old masters. This is St. Augustine's Abbey, a testament to the revival of Christianity in England. St. Augustine's Abbey was founded by St. Augustine, the first Archbishop of Canterbury, in 598. For centuries, it was Kent's only religious house of real significance, and its importance was recognized by invading Danes and the Normans, who constructed a Romanesque monastery to replace the old section buildings. St. Martin's Church is the oldest church in the English speaking world. This church dates from the end of the 6th century but includes even earlier Roman elements like a brick tomb. The church was established by the pagan king Ethelbert of Kent to allow his Christian wife Bertha, a Frankish princess, to practice her religion. In the church's stonework, we can see hundreds of Roman bricks. Although it's not known if these are from a surviving Roman building or were reused in Anglo Saxon times. The last of seven medieval city gates, this West Gate, defending Canterbury, is the 18-meter formidable 14th century construction beside the River Stour. This is the Canterbury Tales Museum, set in St. Margaret's Street. The picturesque streets of Canterbury are steeped in history, dating as far back as the Roman times. Situated in the heart of Kent, this city is known for its beautifully preserved medieval architecture. The streets here are lined with half timbered buildings and beautiful historic pubs.